camouflaging imposed by the circle designs, in some cases, actually creates a totally different sense of form than the natural form. And it would be okay for me if it actually caught the essence of the natural form, but in this case, instead of looking like palmetto fronds, it looks like ferns. That's just one of the problems with this particular technique. But I like the forms themselves. I like the circle forms. I like them as abstract forms. And I do like the interplay of the real and the abstract.
So Charles, did you tell us who she was?
Her name is actually Janet. It's Janet Raskin, who I have not been in contact with. And she met me there at Parrot Jungle, which is no longer Parrot Jungle. And she posed.
Has she seen it?
Yes, yes, her mother saw it too.
That's good.
As a matter of fact, I gave her a small canvas of the same painting.
A sketch.
Now, using my photo editing software, I've tried other ways of getting abstraction using the photo editing software, and these would be two of the more dramatic ones because there are these amoeboid forms, and this one on the right seems to be just completely an amoeboid abstraction. But yet, as one gets a certain distance away, there's a sense of what it is. What I think I'm probably going to be interested in the next paintings I do is doing a series of canvases, starting with something that pretty much gets the accurate natural forms and then proceeds to abstract in a series of canvases. The second one that I did in this series was based on a quick sketch. So there was a lot of memory and imagination that went into it. And I think actually the perspective and the forms of the figures could be a lot better. In fact, lately I've been working on the computer with the same theme, trying to do a similar figured composition so that if I should redo this image, I'd have something that I was more happy working from. They were all based on this painting, which I called Matheson Marina. I called the more abstract ones Matheson Marina in some kind of pattern. So, for instance, this is Matheson Marina in star octagons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're 8-pointed stars, so it's a kind of star octagon.
Oh. Really read very nicely.
And I probably did it in more than one kind of octagon. These stars have a sharp point. I have it in a more symmetrical point. I call this a lantern pattern. If you look at the individual forms, you can usually find circles that are subdivided in a certain kind of way, and I consider this a lantern shape. These are pentagon stars, and this is also one of the less busy pictures in this theme. It's flatter and there's more flat color and less texture. It's kind of a spiral pattern. And the individual dabs, I tried to get this wet dab approach where I'd have two colors on the same brush when I made the dab, so it gives it a kind of blended stroke.
Ooh.
I think this might even be my favorite in the whole series.
It looks edible.
I know. Does.
These circles alternate stripes and dabs. They alternate curving stripes and areas where the vertical stripes go right through the S-curve and don't follow the S-curve. So here these follow the S-curve, these don't. And I think I followed that system throughout.
It's really, really interesting. Oh, oh my goodness. Look at this one here.
So I'm fascinated by the idea of a realistic image being the basis of the picture, and yet the forms don't necessarily have to follow that. The form can impose its own shapes and as a result create a different kind of picture. I happen to like this one a lot in the group. These are 8-pointed stars also. These are the more symmetrical 8-pointed stars. I have a spider crawling on it right there. I think it's off now. This one for me has a serenity more than some of the others.
Has almost a Aztec-y Native American geometric star sky.
A lot of these are similar to quilts and textiles too. And I was thinking about textiles, and I was thinking about the Bauhaus, and I was thinking as well about Islamic art and the use of geometric forms, particularly star forms in some of Islamic art.
And the positive, negative, and the connecting tile. Where's Miss Lucy?
And in the series, I think this is the only 6-pointed star piece. So this was something I definitely wanted to explore, because if I'm going to explore stars as a Jewish man, I should explore the 6-pointed star too. But I've allowed the vertical mast forms to become diagonals. Jan and I were in a course in drawing by Robert Capellas, a fantastic artist teacher.
I took his class.
Yeah, and I'll always remember one phrase that he used with us: accept the process. So that's what I've done in the paintings like this. I've defined the process and accepted it. This one reminds me a little more of Van Gogh than the others. Although Van Gogh was definitely someone who came to my mind also when I was working like this, because Van Gogh would be taking a landscape or figure composition, and he would start to get into swirls of paint and swirling strokes that followed a certain pattern, and in some cases the swirls pretty much followed natural forms as well as creating their own swirling patterns.